The causes of China's youth unemployment crisis are complex and multifaceted. Here are some of the main factors that have contributed to the problem. The economic slump. China's economy has been slowing down for years, and the pandemic has exacerbated the situation. The GDP growth rate fell to 2.3% in 2020, the lowest since many sectors, especially small and medium-sized enterprises, have been struggling to survive and have reduced their hiring or laid off workers. The coronavirus pandemic. China's strict zero-COVID policy has imposed lockdowns and travel restrictions on many cities, affecting consumer spending, tourism, entertainment, and other service industries that employ a large number of young people. The pandemic has also disrupted the education and training of many students, making them less prepared for the job market. The seasonal effects of graduation. Every year, millions of college graduates enter the job market in June and July, creating a surge in demand for employment. However, the supply of jobs has not kept up with the demand, resulting in a mismatch between the qualifications and expectations of the graduates and the needs and offers of the employers. The mismatch between the jobs that college graduates want and the jobs that are available. Many college graduates aspire to work in high-tech, high-paying, and high-status sectors, such as internet, finance, education, and media. However, these sectors have been hit hard by the regulatory crackdown by Beijing on the private sector, which has targeted issues such as data security, antitrust, online content, and social responsibility. As a result, many tech giants have cut their hiring or even fired some employees. The sweeping crackdown by Beijing on the private sector. The government has tightened its control over the private sector, which accounts for about 60% of China's GDP and 80% of urban employment. The crackdown has affected not only tech companies, but also other industries such as education, healthcare, real estate, entertainment, and gaming. The crackdown has reduced the profitability and innovation of the private sector, and has dampened the confidence and enthusiasm of entrepreneurs and investors. These are some of the main causes of China's youth unemployment crisis, which is threatening its future. The crisis poses a serious challenge for the Communist Party, which relies on economic growth and social stability to maintain its legitimacy and authority. The government has introduced some policies to stimulate youth employment, such as subsidies for small businesses that hire graduates and more job opportunities in state-owned enterprises. However, these measures may not be enough to solve the structural problems that underlie the crisis. China needs to reform its education system to better align with the market demand, foster a more conducive environment for private sector development, and balance its zero-COVID policy with economic recovery. The consequences of China's youth unemployment crisis are serious and far-reaching. They affect not only the individual lives of millions of young people, but also the social stability and economic development of the country. One consequence is the social discontent among the frustrated and disillusioned youth. Many young people feel hopeless and angry about their lack of opportunities and prospects. Some have adopted a passive attitude and given up on their dreams and ambitions. Others have expressed their dissatisfaction and resentment through protests, online activism, or even violence. The youth unemployment crisis has eroded the trust and confidence of young people in the government and the society. Another consequence is the loss of human capital and innovation potential. China's youth are supposed to be the driving force of its economic transformation and modernization. They are supposed to be the creators and consumers of new technologies, products, and services. But without decent jobs and incomes, many young people are unable to unleash their talents and skills, or to access quality education and training. The youth unemployment crisis has wasted the valuable resources and talents of a generation of young people, and undermined China's competitiveness and productivity in the global market. A third consequence is the pressure on the social security system and the intergenerational equity. China's youth are facing a double burden. They have to support themselves and their families, while also contributing to the pension and healthcare funds for the aging population. But without stable jobs and incomes, many young people are unable to save for their own future, or to pay taxes and social insurance fees. The youth unemployment crisis has increased the fiscal deficit and debt of the government, and widened the income gap and social inequality between generations. A fourth consequence is the challenge to the Communist Party's legitimacy and authority. The party has always claimed to represent the interests and aspirations of the people, especially the youth. It has always promised to deliver economic growth, social stability, and national rejuvenation. But with the youth unemployment crisis, many young people feel betrayed and abandoned by the party. They question its ability and willingness to solve their problems and improve their lives. The youth unemployment crisis has posed a threat to the party's political power and social control. China's youth unemployment crisis is a serious challenge for the country's social and economic development. According to official data, the Urban Survey unemployment rate for the 16 to 24 age group reached 20.4% in April, a historical high in recent years. This means that 1 in 5 young people in China is out of work. What are the causes of this problem? And what are the possible solutions? One of the main causes is the mismatch between supply and demand in the labor market. On the one hand, China has a large number of college graduates, reaching 11.58 million this year. On the other hand, many employers are looking for skilled workers with practical experience and professional qualifications. This leads to a situation where many young people with higher education degrees cannot find suitable jobs, while many jobs in emerging industries and traditional sectors remain vacant. Another cause is the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the economy, especially on the service industry, which accounts for a large share of youth employment. Many small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, have faced difficulties in production and operation due to lockdowns, social distancing measures and reduced consumer demand. As a result, they have reduced their hiring or even laid off workers. Some young people have resorted to setting up stalls in night markets or relying on family support to make ends meet. To address this issue, the Chinese government has introduced a set of policies meant to stimulate youth employment, such as subsidies for SMEs that hire college graduates, directives for state-owned enterprises to make more jobs available for those just starting out, expansion of vocational education and training programs to improve the skills and employability of young people, promotion of entrepreneurship and innovation among young people, such as providing tax breaks, financial support and preferential policies for startups. Reform of the labor market and the education system to reduce barriers to entry, increase flexibility and mobility, and enhance the quality and relevance of education. These policies aim to create more job opportunities for young people, as well as to improve their match with employers' needs. However, they also face some challenges and limitations, such as the effectiveness of subsidies and directives depends on the implementation and supervision of local governments. The quality and accessibility of vocational education and training vary across regions and sectors. The sustainability and profitability of entrepreneurship and innovation depend on market conditions and competition. The reform of the labor market and the education system requires coordination and consensus among various stakeholders, such as employers, workers, educators, and policymakers. Therefore, while these policies are necessary and helpful, they are not sufficient to solve the youth unemployment crisis in China. The fundamental solution lies in economic development. As Yao Yang, an economist at Peking University, said, "In the short term, only stable economic growth can solve the employment problem, fundamentally. By expanding effective demand and boosting market confidence, employment growth and economic development can mutually promote each other. With the continuous recovery of the economy, especially in the service industry, the employment situation for young people will gradually improve."